man, I love interviewing Erin Porter. Erin is a woman you all need to meet. Meet her. Erin Porter, my audience. Not only did she have to find her way out, Erin would not be here today, I am convinced, if she didn't find her way out of a systemic mycosis, a fungal condition that transcended the skin or the gut. It was all over. She has since written a book called Eat, Pray, and Get Well. And whereas a self-published author, can sell 100 copies, huge number of these books have sold for a reason. It's really, really good. And it takes the reader, the night I read this, I forwarded this for you. The night I read it, my wife said, how late are you going to be up? Till I finish. You get on chapter 4, you can't quit. It's that good. It tells the story of emotional abuse that may have lowered immunity, and while it was down, fungus hops on board. It's an opportunistic organism. You take it from there.
Talk about lowering immunity, mold. So this is why so many people that have mold illness have chronic Epstein-Barr, more susceptible to chronic Lyme disease.
Cytomegalo.
And everything else. Cancer, as you talk about.
Remember what they found in COVID patients? Now they're doing autopsies and finding a percentage, and with aspergillus and mucormycosis and histoplasmosis, all these fungi was that first,
right,
lowering their immunity, and then COVID jumped on board. But I digress. Let's talk about how this systemic problem impacted you and what the book talks about.
Well, it ripped the rug out from under me. Mm-hmm. I was just a teenager, and I didn't understand what was happening to my body. And it was probably 17 to 20 years later, after suffering, I was just chronically ill. Saw your show, and I believe I was just diagnosed with the aspergillomas in my sinuses, and you happened to be talking about fungus in the sinuses. Right. And you said how it can become systemic, and I just kind of knew that's what's happening to my whole body. It has gone systemic. You had been to so many doctors. You tell the story in the book about here you are in New York, finally alone, mom and dad are gone, you're living this life in this $200 a month flat, which is filled with mold. And whereas your friends all went to lunch, you went to another doctor. So this should have been the most exciting part of my life. Here I am in the city, and everything's at my fingertips. At lunchtime, I was going to see my ear, nose, and throat, going to find out what's wrong with my heart. This was tunnel vision. I wanted to get well. I wanted to understand what was taking my life out from under me. I didn't have a normal 20s. I didn't have a normal 30s. I wasn't out having fun and drinking. I was researching, how do I get well? And then once I found out the sinuses were a blessing, because if I hadn't have found out that I had the fungus in my sinuses, I could not have put the puzzle together. You had told me one time a lot of these people pass, and it's sad because their families told they passed of a heart attack. Or that was my fear. When my son was 2 or 3, I think I was probably at my worst, and the heart arrhythmias were probably the scariest for me. And I used to write him letters because I didn't know if I was going to live. And I was afraid of what you said. I'm going to die, and they're going to say I had an arrhythmia, and that's not what it was. Because by this time, I believe maybe I knew what it was, and I didn't want that kind of death. Telling my family it's something other than what it was. And you've done, Erin, as opposed to other people, and I talk counsel like you, people all the time. You wrote about it. This has helped so hundreds, thousands of people. Your book has helped. Same with mine. Mm-hmm. We're here on this earth for a short time, and we hope to leave a legacy. People who will watch this show like you did years ago. People who you can help. Did you wonder when you had cancer on your face if that wasn't fungus also? That was the first thing I thought of. Absolutely. Yeah. And now they found in 35 different cancer samples, they found fungus. Duh. What would you like to land this on? What would you tell the people who continue to suffer? I would say follow your FUPO advice. If you have any illness that is not responding to conventional medicine, CDC is even saying it, think fungus. And instead of maybe, well, I don't want to say that, but I was going to say start taking your health into your own hands and change your diet and sweat out the toxins and do everything that Doug tells you to do. That's what I would say. And you just might get better and you'd be shocked.
And then you need to publish. I mean, I know how expensive, especially this glossy. I've checked all this out. You know, heavy book, good print. The book is called Eat. You know where that came in. Fungus needs to eat. It needs carbohydrates. Pray. She didn't turn on TV and watch Know the Cause that day out of coincidence. And then get well. And she is there now. Do you think you're cured?
I think I am pretty close, and I still have to be careful. A lot of people like me have the MTHFR gene that we've talked about in the past. You can't detox as well as everybody else does. T cell deficiency, things like that. So I have to be careful. If I go into a bowling alley and it smells like mold, I'm out of there, because it doesn't take long for mold to take hold and grow. So it's an ongoing feed it or don't feed it,
Yep.
starve it,
Yep.
kill it, and stay well.
Erin Porter, Eat, Pray, Get Well. Thank you
Thank
for being
you.
with us today.
Thanks for having me.
This easy reading handbook has years of research implicating the harmful role that fungi and their mycotoxins play in cancer. The documentation in this handbook brings hope to a disease that takes everything. Fungus Link 1, 2, and 3 explore the role fungus can play in allergies, arthritis, digestion problems, mental health, skin disease, and hormonal problems, plus more. This book is dedicated to women's health. Read and learn how these tiny germs can infect and mimic many of the health issues women suffer from. This is a must-read. Shop now and feel good.
Folks, this is the set where every Monday and Tuesday, 3 to 4 Central Time, 3 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, I bring you a live show all about fungus, all the things you're learning on TV, but I can answer your questions on this one. So type them in to knowthecause.com, watch me there, or watch me on my Facebook channel. Okay, thank you, Chris, for coming in and continuing our education. There is the Pioneer unit. The little guy on the right, Mini Mate, extends the shelf life of your fresh fruits and vegetables, organic though they may be. And finally, folks, your doctor makes the decision on mammography, not me. My role is to simply educate you on both sides of an issue so that you can make good decisions. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The preceding program, Know the Cause, was paid for by Mediatrition Incorporated.